What is significant about a 7-day-old child? It's a child without religion. Jesus said, "The person old in days won't hesitate to ask a little child, 7 days old, about the place of life, and that person will live. For many of the first will be lost and will become a single one." Gospel of Thomas, saying 4. So why a 7-day-old child? The audience that Jesus was speaking to would have known exactly what he was talking about, because on the 8th day, that child would have been circumcised. Now, circumcision was and is to Judaism what baptism is to Christianity. It's this ritual initiating you into the religion. It's this ritual that symbolizes the adoption of this religion. Now, a soul of a 7-day-old hasn't been claimed by this religious system yet. Now, in the time of Jesus, they did not have the same concept or idea of religion that we have today, but they did have a very clear understanding of being religious, of following rituals and regulations. And what Jesus taught was that it's not about being religious. It's not about religion. It's not about dogma or creeds. He called his people, his followers, to be beyond all that, to be beyond trying to belong, trying to be part of this little chosen group that believe that they are the chosen ones, this exclusive little group that think that they are the true children of God. Faith isn't about being religious. It's about being reborn, raw, unmarked, and open, a child of the living Father, not a follower of rules, not a product of tradition, but someone who sees with unclouded eyes. For many of the first will be lost and will become a single one. Now, what does that mean? The first will be lost. It's not about time. It's not about one arriving before the other. It's about rank, about status, about importance. So to get a better understanding of what Jesus meant with that, we can look at other places where Jesus used those words. So the one example will be in Mark 10, the rich man. So if we read the story about the rich man, it's about this person that really wanted to please God, that wanted to follow Jesus, but he had a problem. You see, he was rich, he had all these possessions, and these possessions made him feel important, made him feel superior, made him feel first. It defined him. And that is why it was so important to him and why he couldn't let it go. Jesus ends that story in verse 31 with, "But many who are first will be last, and the last will be first." You see, for the rich man, he tried to be important, and because he tried, he wasn't. He was first, but because of that, he was actually last. If instead he was willing to let that all go, if he was willing to become not important, to become last, then he would have become first. He would have become important. To get back to the 7-day-old child, a 7-day-old child is not obsessed with possessions or with status or comparing himself with the child in the next door. He's just a 7-day-old child. Another example would be Matthew 20, the laborers in the vineyard. So there, Jesus tells the story about these laborers that started working at different times of the day, and some started working earlier. And at the end of the day, when they got paid, those that started working earlier, that worked more, expected more money, but they all got paid the same. And obviously, they were unhappy. So in verse 16, we read again, "So the last will be first, and the first will be last." And again, Jesus is explaining to us that it's not about how much work you do for God. If you are a parent, you will understand that. You don't expect your children to work for you to be your children. They just are your children. It's not that if they work for you, or the more they work for you, the more they love you, the more you love them. You just love them. And that is something that we need to understand, that we just are the children of God, and we don't need to work to become his children. Again, to get back to the 7-day-old child, that child has no concept of trying to work for the mother's approval or for the mother's love. That child only knows that he is loved, that he only experiences the love and the protection and the safety that the parent provides. To become a single one, that is a recurring thing in the Gospel of Thomas. It's about becoming whole, about being undivided in yourself. Now, in upcoming sayings, we will see how religion will split you in two. For many of the first will be lost and will become a single one. You will become whole. You will become complete. God is your Father. Just be his child. Thank you for listening to my interpretation of saying 4. If you've got a different idea, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Thank you for watching.